such a fundamental fact. A principal officer leading a local of 14,000 members and working families is responsible of how our dues are spent and for ensuring every vendor is vetted properly. Leadership is not just about experience. It is about accountability, responsibility, and protecting the democratic rights of every member. And we all know the deeper problem. The way local elections are structured gives incumbents total control. They choose the election vendor, the printing company, the post office, where they store the ballots, the date the election is ran, and they maintain custody of the ballots after the election. There are no checks, no balances, and no oversight. Imagine the United States adopting this same system, where the president of one political party controls every level of the election. It is football season right now, so picture this, a game where the referee is wearing the jersey of the home team. Is that fair? Teamsters, we have power to change this. We have the right to demand the IBT constitutional language and local bylaws that protect democracy, not undermine it. Because an election run entirely without oversight is not democracy, it's theater. The script is already written. The end is already determined. We are reaching out to multiple agencies, including the IBT, to investigate these concerns, and we will keep fighting until real reform is put into place, so this never happens again. Because power without accountability is not leadership, and Teamsters deserve leadership that puts the members first. I would now like to introduce Norman Salcedo from Local 542. I'm sorry, I butchered his name.
How you doing? My name is Norman Salcedo. I'm a rank and file member of Teamsters Local 542. And I'm speaking today because I love this union. And because I believe it can and must do better. This isn't easy to say, but it needs to be said. When members lose confidence in their local unions and in the election process, something real is damaged. Trust erodes. Participation drops, and solidarity that holds us together against the weekend. Let me be clear. This is a call for accountability, transparency, and reform. Our union leaders chose to outsource the administration of our election to Unilect. That decision carried a responsibility to build strong safeguards, to ensure transparency, and to protect every member's confidence in the process. That responsibility was not met the way it should have been. Members were asked to trust the process they could not fully see. Questions were raised in good faith. Instead of clear answers, many members felt dismissed. That cuts deep because this union was built on the principles that every voice matters. A union that loses trust in its elections becomes a weakened union. And when Local 542's credibility is shaken, it doesn't stop at our borders. It affects the strength of the entire Teamsters union. Solidarity starts when rank and file members know their voices matter and their votes count. This is not about tearing anyone down. It's about lifting our union back up. Unilect operated within a system approved by our union leaders. Responsibility for the structure, oversight, and safeguards of that system rests with the people who made those decisions. Leadership means owning those choices and fixing what didn't work. Teamsters have never backed down from hard conversations. Our union was built by workers who stood up, spoke out, not only from employers, but from their own leadership when necessary. This union does not belong to vendors. It does not belong to officers. It belongs to the members who show up every day, do the work, and pay their dues. We speak up because we care. We fight because this union matters. And we stand together because real reform only happens when the rank and file demand it. This is about restoring trust. This is about protecting democracy. And this is about honoring the union that generations of Teamsters built with our labor, our sacrifice, and our solidarity. We're not asking for perfection. We're demanding accountability. And we're not going anywhere. Thank you.
Hello and good morning, everybody. I'm Xavier Rodriguez, and my name is Xavier Rodriguez. I was the vice presidential candidate for the Members First Slate. I'm a member of Teamsters Local 2010 and have been so for 3 years, a steward for 2, and I've witnessed a state of differences in our union. And so I'm here today to speak out on our experience. For context and background, I grew up with an atypical upbringing, and it essentially heightened my awareness and sensitivity to detail, shaping a strong sense of observation and discernment in complex social and institutional settings. This perspective has afforded me and enabled me to recognize subtle inconsistencies and interpersonal dynamics that some may overlook. On December 2nd, it was a Tuesday, the election occurred at Teamsters Local 2010 headquarters in Oakland, California. It was there in that room, I was sitting in between the official of Unilect who was running this election. In between, on the other side, or I was sitting in between, and on the other side we had our principal officer speaking to an attorney of our local. During this conversation, the principal officer of 2010 was asked how much this election costed the local. The response was $30,000, however, my eyes never left the official of Unilect. It was in that moment, her eyes were dead set on the principal officer. She didn't hear much of the context of the conversation besides the amount of money that was stated, but there was fear in her eyes as she gazed upon him. It was in that moment, something inside of me, it felt disorganized. There were inconsistencies during the whole process, and it led to concern about the integrity and the fairness of the election proceedings. There was suspicious and unusual behavior, and during the election, there were many irregularities that lead us to question the integrity of the proceedings and the process. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Laura Newman. I'm with Local 2010. And I am currently a trustee until the end of the year. I've been a trustee on the board for the last 6 years. I was the candidate for president with the Members First Slate. And my concern here is with the ballots. As soon as the ballots arrived in the mail, I noticed that they had the names clearly written on the back of the mail-in ballot, which wasn't necessary, especially when you have a code that's ID'd with the name. But more importantly, the ballots came with a secret sleeve envelope and the mailing envelope. When you put the ballot inside the secret sleeve envelope and laid it on the table, you could clearly see the ballot inside the envelope. It was translucent. The mail-in envelope was also translucent, so I did notice that when you put the ballot inside the sleeve, inside the mailing envelope, and held it to just a general household light, you could clearly see how the voter voted. So you could see the voter's name, and you could see exactly how they voted. When we protested this with our local, the answer was there is nothing in the rules that says how opaque an envelope can be. Now one can translate that to say if that is the case, we could use clear envelopes for our ballots. And clearly that we don't believe that that's the intent of the secret ballot voting process that the DOL is supposed to enforce. So we are asking the DOL and the Attorney General to look into this. We want them to look into how the ballots are handled. They are going to a post office box that it's our understanding is purchased by the people who are in charge of the local. The election is managed by the people who are in charge of the local, and these are the folks that have a vested interest in the results of the election. So we're asking the Attorney General to look into all of this, and especially the secret ballots. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Mariana Batiste. I am a member of Teamsters Local 2010, running for Secretary, Treasurer, Principal Officer for Local 2010. We are not here because we want to be here. We're here because there's a problem. And as I'm finding out, it wasn't just within our local, it's been within the state. And I'm finding out that the same problem is outside of our state in other states, as other locals have been contacting me with the same exact problems. We are here today because our voices have fallen on deaf ears. We have filed our protest. We have filed our appeals. And no one has taken us serious. We have a right to be heard, and our rights as members of our locals. When you have a leadership that no longer cares about the majority of the members and a very few selected members, we have a problem. Because let me be clear, the union is not the leadership, it's the people that work in the union. We do not work for our leadership works for us. So when retaliation comes upon a member for speaking up or asking a question about what's going on in their union, and they're silenced, they're alienated, that is not leadership. It's a travesty that we are paying our dues. We are paying our taxes here in this great state of California, which I'm so proud to be. It's a labor state, and we lead in labor. Why are we having these types of problems? Especially with a labor union that is so very well known and so strong. So strong that it wants to weaken its members and silence their voices. And you think that's okay? You think it's okay? You stand there with the smirk on your face, but that's not okay. What's wrong with this? Come over here. This is our future right here. What are we teaching our future? What unionism is about? Silencing the members and taking their money and doing
what you want with their money, spending it, and no accountability, no transparency. We are here today in front of the Attorney General's office. We are here because there was a disparity amongst or within our elections. A disparity that needs to be addressed. Not today, not tomorrow, but yesterday. Let's be clear about this. We have reached out to the Department of Labor, Chad Markham. We have filed a class action grievance and asked for immediate action. Immediate action to look into criminal activity that we all have witnessed as members in our local unions. We have also reached out to Attorney General Rob Bonta. An election that was ran by an election company that is suspended. Every single election will be overturned. They're invalid. And the integrity of running an election on a suspended license is embarrassing. Not only to the union, but to the people and the constituents who pay their taxes to the people who are supposed to have our backs. Our hard work that we make, we work hard every day, the money that we make. That money goes into our dues, that goes into the per capitas, that pay the joint councils and the international. Our taxes pay the Attorney General and the Department of Labor. Step up, take care of your constituents, take care of your members. Sean O'Brien, do the right thing. Handle the people that are bringing reproach among the Teamsters International Brotherhood. Mark Chadharm, you know what you have to do. And Rob Bonta, you know what to do. Thank you.